just a quick presentation of my studies and everything. So I'm a Belgian, 32 years old guy who studied in Belgium at a school called, so sorry for the pronunciations in French, so Haute École Albert Jacquard. In this school, usually you would do about everything. So you would do like environments, you would do characters, you would do animation, a bit of programming to know how it works. In the end, after school, I decided to stick with characters. So I decided to branch my path and specialize into characters more than environments. And after school, I applied to multiple companies, and in the end, pretty simple, like answered positively for my application. And I moved to Paris with my wife to start working there. So for 3 years, we worked on a project. It was a mobile project, and the characters were in a stylized fashion, I would say, like a stylized style, more like Overwatch, that kind of stuff. I was contacted by Ubisoft Bordeaux to work on Ghost Recon Breakpoint, and so I accepted, basically. And when we were done with the Ghost Recon project, we started working on the first DLC of Assassin's Creed.
Why don't you talk to us about that project? How hard was it?
So basically, we started working on the main game. So the main game of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, to get used to the processes and all the pipelines and all that stuff. But then we had to work on the first DLC that was launched. I think it was 1 month ago or something like that. It's Wrath of the Druids. So it was made all in Bordeaux. And we had about 1 year to work on this project, which is kind of enough for that kind of scope, I would say. So yeah, it was a bit challenging because we came from Ghost Recon Breakpoint. We didn't know a lot about Assassin's Creed Valhalla and how the pipelines and all that stuff worked. So we had to adapt really quick for their pipeline, and at the same time start producing stuff for the game.
And what were your responsibilities in the game?
So on the main game, we helped Montreal work on the characters, and we had some assets to produce. But on the DLC, we had our own characters and more stuff to do, because it was basically the whole expansion that we had to do in Bordeaux. I'm a part of the whole character team, and we had to work on multiple a main character from the game that I in the end published on my portfolio. So basically, we all have the same duties. We start by working on a high poly sculpt in ZBrush, then we move to retopology and low poly, baking maps, UV mapping, and all that kind of stuff. And in the end, you have to integrate it in the Anvil engine, which is the Ubisoft engine.
In France, the video game industry, how is it evolving? What are the new jobs, projections that you as an employee have in the artistical technological world? And why do you move to France and not stay in Belgium as well?
I'm going to start with that last point. So basically, the video game scene in Belgium is not really implemented yet. There are a few companies like Larian and another one called Fishing Cactus, which are I would say the two biggest companies in Belgium. If I wanted to find some work, I would have had to move at some point abroad. And why in France? Because basically the first positive response to my application was in France, so I moved there. And for the video game scene in in France, we have a lot of big companies here like Ubisoft, Gameloft, especially in Paris, in the Parisian area. But we also have in big city like in Bordeaux, Toulouse. Not sure about Toulouse actually, but Montpellier, Annecy, and in the north of France there are a lot of video game companies. So there are a lot of jobs there, but then you still have to have the correct job title, to apply to the correct job application that are displayed online, because it's always a little bit specialized in that way.
Mike, if you can picture someone in Latin America starting or initiating their studies in Unreal Engine, and then developing some very amazing skills. And that person would like to enter the video game industry in Europe. What would be your advice for that person?
So basically, my advice for all students and all people like starting in the video game industry would be like, first of all, choose what you want to specialize in, because unless you are in a small indie company, and if you're aiming for, I would say, bigger companies like Ubisoft, Naughty Dogs, Santa Monica Studios, at some point people like get specialized. So characters, environments, prop artists, animators. So I would say the first thing would be like to choose what you want to really work on. That doesn't mean that on the side you can't like work on other stuff that you would like to try out. But that is important because basically all your life would be like working on this unless you choose to change specialization at some point. The next thing is for me to get a degree. Even though in this industry it's a lot based on the portfolio and how your CV looks, getting a degree would be an easy way like to get a visa and to get all that administrative stuff done quicker than if you didn't have a visa. Of course, if you don't have a degree, you can still like get a job, but it will be like much harder like for the company to bring you here because they need to, I mean, to do all the paperwork and that stuff for you. So I'd say the degree is important in some way, just to get to the country. Another thing would be to, if you have a chance like to learn 3D courses and stuff like that, don't stay in the comfort zone and do what is like the minimal requirement for school. It's always good to go out of your way and work on personal projects and develop new skills and try to do new stuff, because it shows like initiative. It allows you to grow a better portfolio and show people that you are like passionate and interested about that kind of stuff. I wanted to say the last skill is, when you are working on something, don't be afraid to ask for feedback and post online your stuff. There are like a few forums or websites that you can post on to be able to receive and to give feedback to other people, because at some point you are going to work on something and it's going to be the same thing that you see all day for multiple days, and at some point your perception will be completely wrong and you won't see like the small problems on your project. So it's always better to have like an outside eye to tell you, to point out like some errors or stuff like that. For example, a few websites that are like nice for that kind of stuff. There is the Polycount website, which is like an old forum where you can post your stuff and have professional feedback from sometimes professional in the industry. There are a few like Facebook groups where you can post like 10,000 hours, ZBrush Pixelogic, Marmoset Toolbag. But there are like, if you look for them, there are a lot of groups. And finally, I think the easiest way would be like to join some Discord servers. There are a lot of Discord now about video game and 3D that you can post stuff there and get feedback.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a new friend from Paris, Mike Bordeaux. And thank you very much, Mike.
No problem.
Blessings, and we see you around, man. Thank you.
We see you. Thank you, Mike. Thank you.
No problem. Have a great day.
Thank you.